All right. Hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Ryan. I am here with my co host, Josh, and our special guest today, Ethan. And we are here to lament the playoffs.
Well, I'm not lamenting.
One of us is here. One of us is here to celebrate. Two of us are here to lament. Josh.
And cry.
Josh, I feel you. Me and Josh both. I made it into the playoffs and lost in the first round. Ethan won his game and is now going on to the second round. And Josh never even made it to the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
not even close.
We're here to kind of get off some steam and just talk playoffs and talk what happened this week. Because week 15 week 15 was rough for a lot of people.
Week 15 sucked.
Yeah,
week 15 was incredible.
So I want to throw week 15 into a garbage can and light it on fire.
Yeah. So for those of you that are just now listening in, I faced Ashley, who was Josh's wife, in the first round of the playoffs, and Ethan faced Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, and he won pretty thoroughly.
I think we need to talk about what happened. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We need to focus on you and Ashley. That's what I'm really.
I don't even want to talk about it.
No,
I will gladly talk about it.
I really don't.
Yeah, I'll gladly talk about it.
It hurts.
Let's just say, let's just go right into it. Let's go into our playoff results. We told you about Ryan and Ashley's matchup. Excuse me. Last week, Ashley with the upset, taking down Ryan, 128 to 110.
Number 2 seed. Yeah.
Taken out by the last seed.
Huge
taken out by
upset.
The last seed. Yeah.
As Ryan becomes a victim of week 15.
And freaking Tom Brady.
No, he's
Tom
a victim
Brady.
Of Dalvin Cook.
Oh,
that's where it all started.
I am. That was week 14, though. That was my mistake. I didn't put in Cook.
Yeah.
If you guys missed last week, so here's the story. I did not put in Cook when he had his 4-point game. So I lost, which then bumped my dad up to the first seed in our division and put me as number 2. So he got the first round bye and I didn't. So then I was put up against Ashley this week and I lost. So yeah, that was what kicked all of this off.
And he wears his heart on his sleeve as he wears a Dalvin Cook jersey to today's episode.
I know. I still love my cookie, man. He's awesome. Go Vikes. But what really screwed me over this week was Tom freaking Brady.
Yep.
Tom Brady laid a giant egg in New Orleans and screwed me over in the playoffs. I lost 18 points, and Tom Brady only scored 5 points.
Let's also not forget.
I'm just in shock.
That game was wild, especially so we're going in. It's like I was telling Ashley, it's like, hey, looking at the scores, you're doing all right. And then I see Mike Evans, Chris Godwin out for the remainder of the game. And I went, crap, we really needed those points. And I was like, well, it's kind of a wash because Godwin got out and you had him in that lineup. And then it's like, well, all right, let's see what Brady does. You have she had like a 40-point lead, and Brady just does nothing.
Brady, and then that's a fat egg. But not only did Brady drop an egg, but let's just talk.
Oh no.
Let's talk about Cincinnati's offense.
Oh
yeah, what's going on?
Let's really talk about that.
Oh.
Jamar Chase, star rookie wide receiver, been fairly consistent all year, scoring bucos of points, and then all of a sudden scores 1.3 points in the playoffs.
literally ended with
I
one
was
catch the entire game.
I was ripping my hair out
What
Monday
hair?
night. Yeah, I was ripping my hair out Monday night. I was so ticked off. You know what? It's all right.
It's not.
No, you haven't accepted it.
I'm bitter. I'm bitter. I know. I'm bitter. But I have one thing to look forward to, and that is the draft. I am getting a decent spot in the draft now. So yeah. I may get a 5th or 6th seed. I'm hoping I get 5th. But I don't know. I feel like I have a
I believe you are the 6th as we're looking at it right now, because I
yeah.
believe Jacob has the lower record. So I
Okay.
think it's going to be him 5, you 6.
Well, it's
Can I ask
whoever
you a
loses
question, though,
in our
Ryan?
match gets 5.
What
Gets the 5th seed.
what possessed
that's right.
him not start Brandon Cooks with the way that he's been playing for the last 3 weeks?
It's called the
Are you-
trap.
Are
That
you
was the middle of
kidding
the middle of the season.
Are you kidding? Anytime. Okay. I will tell you this right now. I have had Brandon Cooks on my roster the entire year. The entire freaking year. And every single time I have him on my bench instead of my lineup, he scores like 20 something points. But as soon as I put him in my lineup, he scores 2 points or 5 points.
Here's
And
what
that's
you
how
gotta
it's
do.
been every single time. And it's frustrated the ever living frick out of me.
You gotta
So
fake
that's
yourself
why
out.
that's why I didn't put him in. I do not put him in because he has screwed me over more times than I can count. So that's why I didn't put him in this week. And I'm frustrated because he scored like 33 points. Yeah, 33 points. Yeah, frustrated. But did I know he was going to score 33
every time
points?
I play against Brandon Cooks, he scores 30 on me. So that's probably just me being biased.
Brandon Cooks, I mean, it's so weird because you're like, okay, pretty decent matchup, he'll be okay. And then you have to remember he plays for the Houston Texans.
Exactly.
Who is starting Davis Mills at quarterback.
Yep.
And so it's always the matchups where you don't expect him to do well, he does great in.
You didn't expect him to do well against Jacksonville?
With Davis Mills quarterback? No.
Because honestly, here's the thing. I thought Jacksonville would play way better now that they have exercised the demon that is Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
got rid of him.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, it was just a bad week overall for my team. Yeah.
No, it just happens. Yeah, it happens.
It happens in fantasy football, and unfortunately for me, it happened during the playoffs.
And this is why you're in multiple leagues.
Yeah. I can find some semblance of happiness with fantasy football. Yes.
Yeah. Good luck.
See, this is why you don't just get into one league.
Yeah.
Because where you can find disappointment in one league, you'll have a lot of fun in the other because you'll be winning.
Or you can find disappointment in all of them.
In all of them, if you're bad enough, yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan is now eliminated from playoffs. He will. I say, you know what? I think you've had a good year. You had to deal with the CMC injury to begin with, and then we made the trade with Cook.
Yeah, pawned him on you.
See, I think I've done pretty well for myself because I was like 2-5 at the time, and so now we lay to rest the fantasy league hopes of one Ryan Traver, as Ashley now will play your dad in round 2 of the playoffs. Now the other matchup, I think
she's not playing his dad. She's playing Jonathan Taylor.
She's playing Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, she's playing Jonathan Taylor.
If she can beat Jonathan Taylor, she can beat my dad.
Look, it's Arizona. You never know. You never know.
That's very true.
But I think we need to talk about the other matchup because we have the victor here, Ethan, winning 138-96, a pretty convincing victory over Jacob Duran. How do you feel? A very solid win. You did pretty well against the week that shall not be named.
Yeah. Honestly, that win was awesome. I needed that because Jacob was a team that I could not beat this year ever. And so
Yeah, you had trouble with him.
when the playoffs, the schedule came out, I was like, yeah, of course it'd be my luck that I get the one team that I can't beat. And so then I looked at the matchups and I was like, okay, like this might be doable. Like Cordell Patterson hasn't been playing as good as lately. And in the past, whenever we played, Cordell Patterson scored 25 plus points.
Yeah, that sounds like Cordell Patterson.
And so I was like, okay, this should be a good matchup. And then kind of as I was monitoring the score, I watched every game. And when Pittman was out for the entire game, I was celebrating my heart out among all the other players that he got ejected to that are on his team.
So, I mean, let's just say here, I mean, whenever anyone plays you, you're really just playing against Cooper Kupp, who had 37 points. Good night. Because literally
he carries your team.
And Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb basically saved you, which that's his first good game in like what, 6 weeks?
Yeah. I was watching the back half of that game and I was praying. I was interceding.
Yeah, and really the big thing, seeing similarities with Ryan and then with Jacob Duran here. Basically, if you had one of your consistent players just absolutely tank, that's what did you in.
Yeah.
I mean, and even his was a quarterback as well. Russell Wilson only got 5 points.
Yeah,
especially going for 17-31 for 156 and an interception, basically securing the first losing season in 10 years for Seattle.
Yeah, I know. And I know he's upset too because he had the opportunity to take the bye from Tyler and he just couldn't beat him.
Yeah, no, and Tyler. I will say, I think with how close y'all were, I mean, because it was almost a 3-way tie of 4.
Yeah,
it was Tyler. Yeah, it was Tyler, you, and Jacob, and it was literally just based off of, all right, whoever gets the bye is going to be very thankful, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, well, it's crazy because I know he's upset because no matter who won the game between the two of them, they were going to lose to me. And he just –
You mean Cooper Kupp?
He was going to lose to Cooper Kupp, to Hollywood
Ethan Cooper Kupp McShane.
Yep, basically that's my new name. I will legally change it.
Yeah, so but like, here's the if I'm Tyler, I am thanking everyone under the sun, the moon, the stars that you had the bye week.
Yep.
Because
he was the worst performer of every team. No, he would have beaten Duran, but
no, he would have beaten Duran, but it would have been close. It would have been it would have been very close. Duran just got killed with. I think David Montgomery unfortunately has not been the back everyone thought he would be, or I mean Russell Wilson basically fizzled it out. Fournette got hurt, so Week 15, man.
Yeah, I mean Fournette, he got injured too. Patterson got bottled up. Pittman got ejected. His tight end was Jared Cook, and that's saying enough. Devontae Adams, he had a decent game. CEH is CEH. It's the reason why I traded him after I got him is he's nothing special and he's going to get injured.
Yeah, CEH I think has been one of the biggest disappointments within the last 2 years. Yeah, and I think it's just the lack of utilization.
I never jumped on that bandwagon. As soon as I saw him start his first couple of games, I felt something about him and was like, I don't want to jump on that. I don't want to get him.
Yeah.
Well, even if any of his big games, it was all touchdown dependent.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you're just not seeing the running back that was at LSU. Like he's not taking checkdowns. I mean, Mahomes really doesn't believe in checkdowns because he could throw it behind his back. It's like 50 yards to Tyreek Hill. But really, like I think he's been probably one of the biggest disappointments within the last couple of years. I traded for him thinking, you know what? KC's in a slump. Let's see if they just run the ball to see if that figures it out. And then they went, no, we're going to throw the ball. And then they literally broke out of their slump last week.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, they may end up taking off in the postseason.
And
So
they
Yeah.
and
who knows?
they probably will. So, but that means the next matchup is Tyler versus Ethan. And to be honest with you, I'm going to say this first. I think Ethan wins because you're not.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Cooper Cup wins. I don't think. I don't think you're stopping Cooper Cup. And on top of that, I mean, it's win or go home for Cleveland, so they will rely on that running game as much as
Yeah.
they can.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if you can, I mean, literally, if you can just get 15 points from Matt Ryan, you'll be okay. But I will
Or if
say,
Lamar comes back and saves me.
Yeah, if Lamar comes back.
if Lamar,
If.
if I mean so
Big
as
if.
we are recording, this is a Wednesday. As of right now, he has not practiced.
Yeah.
I can see them just holding him out, and then it's like, hey, you want to play Sunday, and then he'll play Sunday.
Yeah. But I don't know. The matchup's going to be close. I mean, obviously, I'm always worried about Kyler, but Kyler against the Colts should be an interesting matchup. Maybe Detroit found the blueprint defensively, and more people are going to use that. I guess we'll see. But
You mean losing your top 10 receiver in the league in DeAndre
Yeah.
Hopkins? That's
yeah,
for sure.
Kyler's just struggled the last 2 weeks, and I don't think he's got it in him to play
Yeah,
Indiana.
I'm not
he's
going to
been
underestimate him
super.
until the final scores are in personally. But
Yeah.
Right, he's been super. I mean, for lack of a better term, inconsistent this year.
Yeah, very inconsistent.
And I really think part of it's the injury, but I also think part of it is also it's just those injuries, like it's just being out of rhythm.
Yeah. Well, that and putting the weight of the team on your shoulders,
Yeah,
he's
especially because this is the one year where I don't think he kind of has to.
yeah.
I understand the passing game is going to be interesting, but you have AJ Green, Kirk, Rondale Moore. Like, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not as great as it could have been, but you have a tight end in Ertz, and on top of that, James Conner and Chase Edmonds is
Yeah, I
a
was
really
gonna
good
say.
1-2 combo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a good rushing attack between those two.
Yeah, I
So,
think they're going to keep running the ball personally. Kyler's going to kind of dip out from what he was doing. Not anything crazy, but he's not going to be putting up 40 points.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
he'll
no,
spike,
not
but I think
anymore.
you can expect a 20-plus outing from
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's going
2 touchdowns a pick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
So those are going to be our playoff matches for this week. So we will be talking about them. I know we really didn't get into the bigger reason why it's like last week, where we kind of went in position by position, and why we're not doing it this week. Well, it's going to be our only news segment of the day is all these COVID lists, because right now they are looking like a list longer than a CVS receipt.
It is, yeah. It's a laundry list of players last week, especially, and it's kind of dipped into this week too. We've had a plethora of new people come onto the COVID list in the last 2 days, even.
Yeah, the
Josh, do you have
Jets
a list
today
of those?
Boy, do I have a list.
I
Alrighty,
didn't write
so
any of them down.
we are going to bring out the laptop for this. I know the Jets. All right, you know what? We're going to go down all the way down. Austin Eckler today is kind of the big one. He was finally placed on the list. No one knows about his vaccination status, so we don't know how long he's out. Let's see. All righty. Brandon Cooks on the COVID-19 list, along with Kaimi Fairbairn and Eric Wilson. Elijah Mitchell ruled out, but that's for the knee injury. 15 Jets are on the COVID list.
Oh my gosh.
Head coach Robert Saleh, Michael Carter, Elijah Moore, Elijah Vera Tucker. Those are kind of the big ones right there. Let's see who else is still going through it. Oh, Jets activated Mike White. So, I mean, all right, -1. Cole Beasley on the COVID-19 list. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, COVID-19 list. Tyler Lockett, Alec Collins, both were activated. No, unable to clear. Sorry, but they will probably be activated for next week. Within all that, J.D. McKissick was on IR, short-term IR. Let's see, Tyreek
He'll probably be
Hill.
back here pretty soon.
No, he's out for 3 games, so that means basically the
Oh,
rest of the
was he
year.
put on this week?
Yep, he was put on this
Oh,
week.
shoot.
But
So those of
another
you that
big
are
one.
Gibson owners, start him.
No, that's a question I have for y'all once I get through the next half of the COVID list. I know Sammy Watkins on the Ravens is one. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, 2 big ones there.
2 big names that are actually involved in our playoffs.
Yep.
Or at least, yeah. So that's big.
Kendrick Bourne, COVID list. Chargers, Joey Bosa, Corey Linsley. 2 big names there when it comes to the trenches. Literally, you guys saw the Chicago Bears game, and literally all of their secondary players basically was not there. Jared Goff on the COVID list, and as of right now, I believe that is it. Actually, the last painful one, Jalen Waddle,
Oh, yeah.
and he was put on it
that
late.
hurts Miami.
So he missed this game. Obviously, they're saying he's probably going to come back for New Orleans, but that is kind of all I got there. That's quite the list.
That is quite the list. And
I know
a lot
right
of
now
teams are struggling.
Yeah, right now the players union is pissed about what's going on, since most of those guys are vaccinated.
Yeah,
they're really going after the league right now, saying, "Hey, why are you telling us we can't play and all this stuff, and that we're gonna have to forfeit when we're all vaccinated?"
Well, what's crazy is that in the CBA, this was discussed that as far as COVID protocols going, hey, if y'all can't field a team and we can't reschedule, you're gonna have to forfeit, which really sucks because the AFC has like 18 and a half teams.
Yeah.
Like in the playoff hunt right now. So the more people you lose, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And we're already seeing super high injury stuff. Like we haven't even gotten to the fact that Chris Godwin just tore his ACL. And the Ravens are going through like 100 people at this point. And so it's already been like almost a league high for injuries plus the COVID issues. And it has just been, it has impacted your fantasy team more than you can ever imagine.
Yeah. At one point last week, 3 teams, Josh messaged me and was like, 3 teams have 20 plus people on their COVID list. Like,
what do you do when you have when your final roster is 53 and literally like a third to a half of your team out with COVID?
That's
and
crazy.
Then on top of that, as far as roster limit, including IR, everybody, you could only have 90. And the only reason I figured this out is because the Ravens are at 88 right now. And I'm like, did you guys like honestly expect yourselves to be going to the point of like, hey, we're probably gonna, I guess we're gonna have to go through this.
We're gonna have to sign the trainers to go out there.
Yeah, at this point, sign my out of shape self. I'll go.
No, it's just frustrating for the players. I know Baker Mayfield's been talking a lot about it. Like, they were vaccinated for a reason. Like, we shouldn't be held out if we're asymptomatic and stuff. And that's a whole other debate. But
yeah, that is a whole other debate. They
Yeah.
did update the COVID protocols for that, which is probably something that should have been a long time coming, but it has really impacted everything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And
I think one thing
honestly,
he said too is that they shouldn't have to be tested if they're vaccinated.
Well, they should be tested, but
this is what Baker Mayfield said.
Yeah, because they can still contract it. They
yeah,
can still get it, even if they're vaccinated. But the issue is, with treatments they have out there, they could be symptom free within 48 hours and test out of it. So,
and especially with
especially
teams,
with the NFL,
you'll be able to get that.
Yeah, with the NFL, they got the money, so they can do that. So why are they, keeping people out for weeks or, make them quarantine? even when they're vaccinated. So
I mean, I really think the scary part is just the magnitude of everything that's happened. Now, obviously, all the star players getting kind of hit. Yeah, that's a problem because literally it's forced, especially from a fantasy perspective, it's forced you to go, well, I don't want to cut this player, but I kind of have to put a lineup out. Oh, round 1 or round 2 of
yeah,
playoffs is happening now, and I'm down 20. One person spiking can bring me back into this, where like it really threw people for a loop. It threw me for a loop, and I was fantasy therapy session. I was in another league, not this league. I was the top seed. I went 11-2, 7-game winning streak.
oh,
I was doing great. And then week 14 happens. Elijah Mitchell can't go because of issues with the knee. I had a couple people with COVID. And then Lamar Jackson, Antonio Gibson, Ricky Seals-Jones give me 6 points combined.
that's rough, man.
And I
That's
lost.
rough.
And that's the second time I've had the 1 seed, and I've had everything, for lack of a better term, go to hell, and I lose. And I'm like, I can't be the first seed anymore. Let me be 7-7, take this hot streak and go.
Yeah.
But this is painful. Like, this is absolutely painful. Like this year I've already had like I'm 5-9 in one league, 7-7 in 2 others, and then 11-2. I'm like the one I was actually doing good in, and then all the injuries and COVID stuff happened, and I'm just like, what did I do to the fantasy gods this year?
And you were hit pretty bad by injuries, and your team really suffered at the beginning of the season. So I get it.
I started all right.
You started
want to go all the way
near
back?
the end.
You want to go all the way back to week 1 as far as Dynasty Junkies? I started Ryan Fitzpatrick week 1.
Yeah, that was
and
pretty
he got me 0.8.
Yep.
If that wasn't an indicator of how my season was going to go.
Well, it's lucky that you had, all of the all of those starting quarterbacks on your bench. You had like 3 quarterbacks at one point, 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, he had Tua and somebody else.
No, he had the starter for the Jets. He had the starter.
Zach
he had
Wilson.
Sam Darnold. He had Mac Jones. He had like a plethora of quarterbacks.
Look, I threw everything at the wall.
Yeah, every week it was different for him. He was trying out all of the quarterbacks for like the first 5 or 6 weeks. Yeah.
Wow, so you're taking the Matt Rule approach.
Yeah.
I unfortunately had to take the Matt Rule approach. But I mean, but this is just coinciding with the news. As far as there is absolutely no advice we can give you except get the breaking news channel on Sleeper, because that is going to save you. Because on top of all your star players getting hurt, be prepared to start making moves to where you're getting your insurance. So like grab their backups or take someone else's backup. And because literally at this point, it is like, I think how it's been for a lot of the season, especially, it is a war of attrition.
Yeah.
So you have to just make sure you have depth and just make it work. It's not going to look pretty. You can cry about your lineup during the day.
Which is literally my season.
Your eyes.
In the end,
literally my season.
But in the end, have knowledge of the team that you have. Like if you have the starter, say, Dalvin Cook, like I have, have Alexander Madison as an insurance, because if Cook goes down,
or
Madison's
what you did,
right
you went as far as getting Kenny Nwangu.
Yeah. And because I have Swift and Jamal Williams was out, I picked Craig Reynolds, who was some no name that they picked up off of the practice squad, and he ended up, going off for 2 weeks. So, and they signed him.
If you started Dalvin Cook at the right time, you'd be having a savior on your hands.
Exactly. Yeah. But, that's just how it's got to be. So in these times of COVID, make sure to talk to your commissioners and have a lot of IR slots or
Yeah.
COVID slots where you can stash those guys if need be. So you can have your backups on your roster. So luckily we have a large enough roster with our league that we don't have to worry about that very much.
Or just be like my team and have 10 of your bench slots go to injured reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. His
I was there for
his
for a
roster
time
was
too.
looking like an infirmary
Yeah, it was
near the
bad.
middle of the
It looked
season.
like
It was
like
bad.
Yeah, it was the
it looked
house
like
of
I just
broken
got
and
out of
used
World War
toys.
One.
Yeah, it was a battered football player's shelter. So
Yep.
There you go. That's your team
My
name for next
fantasy-
year.
battered
Yeah.
football player's shelter. Battered NFL player. So
Battered players.
Josh, let's go ahead and move on to our next segment, which is sleeper, lock, or bust.
I say let's
So-
start with the bust first. Let me
Start
just
with the bust?
get all of this
Okay.
all this painful venom out of
So-
my
Okay, so let me go ahead and start off with this bust. I think this week's bust is going to be Kyler Murray.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yep. I think he's going to fall flat,
Wow.
and he's not going to be able to do much against Indy. I think Indy's going to run the ball down his throat, and he's going to struggle to keep up with Jonathan Taylor. And he's going to be throwing picks left and right because he's not confident right now. He's struggled so much the last 2 weeks, and I think that's how that game script is going to go. He's just going to struggle. Could be wrong, but that's my prediction.
Huh.
Ooh. Okay. Dang.
Don't tell Tyler that, Ryan.
Man.
Don't tell that to Tyler.
Yep.
I'm just kind of looking through the matchups right now. As far as a bust, we're getting into some tough categories here. Because while Kyler would be one, like for me, I would definitely consider. Man, I'll give. I'm stuck between two people. I will say, because right now, how I'm kind of looking at everybody. I'm really looking at Russell Gage potentially being a bust. I would also put in who else? That's really kind of
Bust against Detroit?
So here's why. I mean, Detroit, I think we all have to understand, is playing way better than we all realize.
Yeah. I mean, they beat
Like we
Minnesota.
really have to. We really have to bring that up.
Well, they're the Falcons from last year.
They finally got their crap together.
Yeah. Okay. So I know I'm going to give two answers. Russell Gage is one because I don't think he's going to hit the highs that he has in the last 4 weeks. But my big one, because we have to bring this up because I don't think he's going to be fantasy relevant anymore. It's Myles Gaskin.
Really? Gaskin?
Okay. Look, against New Orleans has still been one of the top run defenses in the league.
Yeah.
And Gaskin is just going to get bottled up, in my opinion. I think no matter how you feel about the New Orleans passing game, I really don't, as my phone goes off, I really don't think Myles Gaskin is just that involved anymore. And I really think Miami has kind of came to a conclusion where we're going to kind of need a better running back. And while Myles Gaskin has been fun, it's always been about the volume, but it's never been about the efficiency with that volume. Where it's something where Najee Harris was a little bit better at that. So I think Myles Gaskin against New Orleans, I really don't think he's going to do well this week.
I could see that. I really could.
Well, in that same game, I'm worried about Alvin Kamara. Kamara.
Really? Carrigan.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm worried about Kamara against. I'm not gonna say that he's gonna be a bust, but I
Well,
would be
that's what this
worried.
is.
This is the
This
category.
is bust.
Well, that's my tentative bust. My pick for bust though is CEH against Pittsburgh.
I mean, Pittsburgh hasn't been really doing well again, run defense wise the last couple of
Yeah.
weeks. If you're seeing what Tennessee was doing to them, KC actually for the first time within the Mahomes era also has an O line to actually pull that off. But you still think CEH will not be able to?
No, I think he's gonna lose touches just because he
Well,
hasn't
like-
been very efficient lately.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
Pittsburgh.
like
Their
you
pass defense
said.
is pretty horrible.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like you said, he's not getting check downs, so
Yeah.
they're not going to be running the ball very much. I think Pittsburgh's going to keep it pretty competitive, and I think Mahomes is just going to have to toss it. So I don't think he's going to be able to hand it off to CEH very much.
Now it
So
might be
I
different
agree
if
with
Tyreek
that.
Hill isn't playing and Travis Kelce isn't playing, but
Yeah.
That would be a very different game. That would be a very
So
different game.
that's where I will say, like, will your opinion change of CEH if Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce don't play?
I don't know. But they're going to
Well-
give that passing volume to Pringle and to Nicole, and then
Nicole Hardman.
even Williams, the backup running back, is going to get more passing downs than CEH.
Yeah, Terrell Williams is more of the check down. When he was subbing in for CH, he got a lot of those. So there's a decent chance the CEH posts this game.
Okay, I can see that pick, so I respect the decision to go there. So Ryan, we're going to start with you again. What's the sleeper?
This is a conditional sleeper, because of the COVID list coming out. I think that Austin Eckler is going to sit out this game, and Justin Jackson is going to get a lot of the rushing attempts.
Ooh, okay.
So I think he's a sleeper for this game.
So I'll ask this question: why not Joshua Kelly?
Honestly, it was kind of a toss up between them, but I think he gets a lot more. Justin Jackson gets a lot more of the passing downs, so I think he has a higher upside in that offense. So I think Justin Jackson will edge him out.
All right. Okay. I will tell you mine. And we actually mentioned him earlier in passing, but I'll bring it up. Bring me Craig. Because I think it's
Reynolds.
I think it's Craig. I'm
Yeah.
all in with Craig Reynolds. I think no matter what, to be honest with you, Atlanta's a really good matchup when it comes to running the ball. And I think what's Craig Reynolds signed on to do, running the ball. And even with Jamal Williams there, he would be coming back from injury. So I could see them giving more of the work to Craig. On top of that, I don't expect Swift to be playing. I think Craig Reynolds can have a really nice day, a very sneaky 16, 17 points, and help your fantasy team.
See, okay, I have a good question for you guys. As a Swift owner, do you think Craig Reynolds is going to carve his way into the lineup next year?
No.
Ooh.
With how effective he's been the last couple of games,
No.
and him being on a low contract, are they going to drop Jamal Williams?
I don't think they'll drop Jamal Williams because Jamal Williams has done some passing work as well, and that's something we haven't seen Craig do. But I think some of the lower names like Jamar Jefferson, I think you can throw him out for Craig.
Yeah.
Reynolds, I think he's definitely going to be sneaky because what it looks like, especially with the Lions, it's still going to take time, and you're still heavily relying on Swift and Jamal Williams. Like that offense was at one point able to carry two backs.
Yep.
And so I think it's definitely something that you should keep on to. I definitely say hold on to Craig because we don't know what's going to happen. But until the Lions fix their passing game when it comes to whoever the quarterback is, if it's Goff, if it's not, or whoever they're going to add into the receiver core, they're still going to be very running back heavy. So I would say he's very much the sleeper of next year in case Swift goes down again or Jamal Williams.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to hold on to him because like you said, he is a sleeper for next year. I just as a Swift owner, kind of makes me queasy when somebody comes up, from their roster and just makes an entrance like that, because it kind of puts Swift on shaky ground. So,
but you always have to understand Swift there's only so many things like that Craig can do where you go, he's not Swift though.
Yeah.
And just literally that explosiveness, Swift can literally like still house call it out of nowhere. Like he's still a complete back.
Yeah. Yeah. And he is definitely solidified himself as a starter, in Swift has. But there's always, that next guy in line that's going to taking bites out of his snap count. So yeah, just worries me, but that's for next year. I need to worry about it right now.
Yeah.
But
Ethan, how do you feel about Craig Reynolds?
I wouldn't be worried as a Swift owner. I think he'll come in when Swift doesn't play. So as long as Swift is healthy, I wouldn't be worried about Craig Reynolds. He'll be a nice compliment, but if I have DeAndre Swift, I wouldn't be worried.
Yeah.
Personally.
Alrighty. And now what is your sleeper this week, Ethan?
In that same game, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is my sleeper.
Kyle Pitts is the sleeper. Interesting.
So Detroit plays a very weak zone defense. They don't have a good secondary. They don't have a great defensive line to get after Matt Ryan. So I think the focus of the game is going to be more on Russell Gage, and Kyle Pitts is going to have more opportunity.
I like that because I think I don't think the Lions are very good at covering tight ends this year. So that's something I would have to check.
Kyle Pitts isn't strictly tight end.
That's true.
He's a wide receiver.
Kyle Pitts is tight end in name only.
Yeah, he's like Travis Kelce. You put anywhere, he's gonna catch the ball. You don't just need to use him as a tight end. He can be put anywhere.
And the other thing too is Detroit plays so much too high safety that there's going to be a lot of setup for play action and for sneaky little tight end plays. With how well that Atlanta's been running the football, to set up kind of these leak plays for tight ends and these deep crossers and one-on-one matchups with linebackers, that Kyle Pitts is going to win.
Yeah, but with that defense though, it does benefit more for Cordero Patterson than it does Kyle Pitts. But it does benefit Kyle Pitts though. It does open up that.
I will just with Cordero Patterson not being the focus as much in recent weeks, I'd be more on Kyle Pitts. I think the game plan for Detroit is going to be a little bit more for Russell Gage, and Kyle Pitts is going to have more opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, with how Russell Gage has kind of been being utilized more and more, I agree. That may open up their attention may focus more on Gage rather than Pitts. Very good.
Yeah. I will say, even though I tentatively thought of Gage as a buzz, I think Gage has done really well considering the circumstances. I think Atlanta, once they can get out of some of the contracts they've been kind of stuck in and the cap catastrophe that they were in, they're going to be A-okay. I think Arthur Smith has done a really nice job this year.
Yeah.
They have the worst roster in the NFL, and they're winning football games.
Have you seen the New York Giants?
Nah, Even the New
Or
York
have you
Giants.
seen the Jacksonville Jaguars? Have you
But
seen the
those are
New
the
York
teams
Jets?
that I'm saying that Atlanta is with. Like all of
Yeah.
those teams just have no talent. But I mean, Jacksonville has a lot of talent. They just had a bad coach.
Yeah, you can have a lot of talent on a team and it not be utilized. So,
Right.
and I
I would
think
say
that's
Jacksonville is
what
all coaching.
Jacksonville is.
Even the Giants, I think, is a lot of coaching because the Giants have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
The Jets, I
They
agree.
do,
The
and
Jets
I
suck.
really think Jason Garrett as OC was a really dumb move. But I like Joe
Yeah.
Judge because I think I'll be honest, I think he brings such a throwback '90s style Giants.
Yeah.
That's been really cool to see. But I mean, he's gonna have to step it up. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to just kind of. If Kenny Galladay was a sign of things to come, like you're gonna have to throw some money and some picks, and you're gonna have to figure it out because if you don't, you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to figure out his quarterback, is what I would say that the Giants are waiting on. As unfortunate.
Yeah,
It's not
Daniel Jones
Jones?
Daniel Jones hasn't really cut it for them.
No,
I don't think he's
With the
right
wide
for them.
receiver talent that they have in New York, Daniel
Yeah.
Jones. was
they've
not-
also been all hurt.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's been a revolving
yes
door
and
this
no.
year.
Yes and no, because you do have Sterling Shepard, Kenny Galladay, and you have what's his name, Tony, Kadarius Tony.
Yeah,
You have a lot of talent. It
Even Evan
shouldn't
Ingram.
matter. It shouldn't even matter who your quarterback is.
Evan
If he
Ingram is
just
a
throws
good
the
player.
ball up, one of them is going to catch it.
that's
But
true.
I just don't think Daniel Jones is the franchise quarterback for them. I think they need to look elsewhere.
Because looking back at the Falcons, like if you look at their defense, they have Grady Jarrett, they have Foye, who's right behind Bobby Wagner in tackles, which is incredible. And then
AJ Terrell.
Dion, and then AJ Terrell's kind of come on his own. But other than that, there's not really any talent on that team. I mean,
Yeah.
Fabian Moreau is a liability in coverage. At corner or at nickel corner, they've had a revolving door between Darren Hall and Isaiah Oliver, who was great until he got injured. And then D-line, they have nobody. They have the least amount of sacks in the NFL, the lowest pressure percentage rate in the NFL. They have nothing. And if you can't get pressure, it doesn't matter how good your linebackers and secondary are, because this is the NFL. Wide receivers are going to get open if you don't get pressure.
Yep.
You beat teams by getting pressure, and Atlanta is the worst in the NFL. Because at least the Giants get pressure. At least Jacksonville gets pressure. That's how they beat Buffalo. Atlanta can't even do that. They are literally just praying that the other team screws up bad enough that they can maybe win, because they're not going to get any pressure.
Well done, Ethan. I
Yeah.
could not agree more with you, which is why let's go, Craig.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go, Reynolds.
Yeah, so now
right.
we get into the fun part. Who is your lock, Ryan?
My lock has been my lock for the last 10 weeks. JT, man. Jonathan freaking
You should probably
Taylor.
ban people from putting him down.
Don't invoke his name. He
man
could have scored 40 points.
This man is a beast, and he is going to win Dad championship. He really is. I really think so. And I was in denial of it for many weeks. And now that, my dad kind of overtook me and took that first seed, after that, I was like, okay, crap. He may win this. Like, oh my gosh. But JT, I think is gonna hammer Arizona. So I think he's a lock this week.
Disagree button for Josh. Go ahead.
I'm gonna actually disagree on that take too. Because,
okay.
All right.
We got some
Ethan,
disagreement.
you first or me first?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, because here's the thing. I don't think he'll spike like he's done in past weeks to where he's getting like 50 points or 5 rushing touchdowns. He
Oh
may
no.
get 1 touchdown. I don't think he hits 170 like he did last week. Really, my biggest reason is this. Believe it or not, Arizona has the 2 freakiest linebackers who can, one, not only man up to the Colts O-line, but 2 can like actually go and chase down Jonathan Taylor with Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins. And so I really think the Arizona defense can pull it off. Really, the big issue is the offense, because if the offense can't get going, that offense's pace is too fast to where then the defense gets gassed. So, and with the Colts' weakness being the secondary, there is a solid chance Arizona could get on drive. So I don't know if Jonathan Taylor will have his massive like game like he has basically all year. So that's my only cause for concern. I think he's going to get enough touches where he's going to get his, but I think if you're expecting 20, 30 plus, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all I need to say is Isaiah Simmons on that defense. Like, he's going to match up with JT. I mean, they have Zaven Collins too, who's been great. But, I mean, even if that's not enough, Budda Baker has been one of the best run-defending safeties in the NFL. Also one of the fastest safeties in the NFL. I mean, that defense is just rough on running backs. Plus, you got Chandler Jones rushing. You got a whole, D-line worth of problems for Arizona. And they've been on a 2-week slump, and I think this is the week that they get out of it.
Okay.
I think Arizona is going to take a ball control approach. I think they're going to control the possession time in the game. They're not going to give the Colts the football, and when they do, they're going to bottle up JT.
Okay.
Interesting.
Unless they completely screw up the game script, that's what I would do is, all right, time of possession, have to have it for at least 65% of the game, and we got to play bear. That would be my game script playing against the Colts.
Maybe.
But go ahead, Josh.
So my lock, and it's whether or not they're actually going to let him score this week. But boy, oh boy, does Miles Sanders versus the Giants look good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Giants defense, not that good. Just going to throw it out there. But They can be run on. The Eagles have kind of gone all in with the running game. And I think Miles Sanders has been a big beneficiary of it. Fun fact, he has the most yards from scrimmage without scoring a touchdown. And he's at 785, and he's missed like 6-7 games this year.
Yeah. Well, that's because Jalen Hurts keeps taking him from him.
Yeah, that's true. Jalen Hurts does keep taking it. So if you want to put Hurts or Sanders, I really think that's where the matchup is. I have Jalen Hurts starting in this week's playoff. I think he's going to do great.
As long as they run it outside of the 0 and 1 tech, yeah, I agree completely.
Oh yeah, avoid Leonard Williams at all costs. Yeah. And Azeez Ojulari. But I do think Miles Sanders will have a really nice game. And at this point, and I think what Ryan and I have kind of like alluded to, but haven't really talked. Right now, the best teams in the league have 2 healthy backs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Miles Sanders is a healthy back right now, and without a doubt, he was definitely drafted way lower. So as long as that other back is ready, like I think he can be a league winner.
Yeah. I mean, Philly's kind of worrisome because it's the land of pity running backs, because I just feel bad for Boston Scott and Jordan Howard and Kenneth Gainwell, and I would too. So that'd be my only thing that I would be worried about. But other than that, I agree with you.
All righty, Ethan, take it home. Who is your lock this week?
You already know what I'm going to say, and that is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp all the way. Never not going to be Cooper Kupp. There's no point in
you're-
asking who
If
my
you're
lock is.
playing,
It's Cooper
if
Kupp.
you're playing Ethan next year, you'll be playing Ethan and his Cooper Cups. That'll
Yep.
be his team name next year.
Yep.
Ethan's
Cooper
Cooper
Cups.
Cuppa.
No,
Ethan's
they'll
Cups.
just be the Cooper Cups.
I'll take a picture. It'll be
Cooper
Ethan's Cups.
Cooper Cuppa Troopa.
Yeah. I'll change my team picture to me just holding a cup, and it's gonna be great. I'm excited for next year.
Yeah, but you have to wear Cooper Cup's jersey.
Yeah.
Honestly, listen, I'll tell you what. If Cooper Kupp just takes me to the championship game, so if I beat Tyler this week, I will buy myself a Cooper Kupp jersey and wear it.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
You'd love to see it.
So I will get a Cooper Kupp jersey. That'll be my jersey of choice for every Sunday next
gosh.
season if I make it to the championship game.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe without it. I love Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's such a good player. Did you see the meme of Kupp going around from the interview he did? They asked him how he scored the last touchdown from last week, and he started talking about like I'll have to send it to you guys. But he was talking about how like the coverage was and how they blitzed on the play, and that set him up to like do this and that. And he was just talking at mile minutes an hour, and like the caption was, "I thought I knew a lot about football until Cooper Kupp described this play." It is beautiful, glorious.
Cooper
Awesome.
Kupp for
I
you.
love Cooper Kupp.
With the
One of my favorite
encyclopedic Sean McVay as well as his head coach.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy that you can just say a game and he'll be like, "Oh, yep, we did this, that, and the other, and here's how it broke down play by play." Like that is freaky.
And I'm sure the conversations between those two are very entertaining.
Dude,
It's
I'd
probably
love to
why
work for the
Cooper
Rams.
Kupp is wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
I would love to work for the Rams. over
Yeah,
there.
over Robert Woods. It's because he's a good conversationalist.
Yeah. I
We
mean,
get to
Cooper
Robert
Kupp
Woods
just
again?
seems like a bro, you know? I feel like Cooper Kupp's the kind of guy you want to hang out with and throw the ball to.
Whew. What an episode.
Man. Yeah.
If you survive week 15, congratulations. Let's hope that never happens again, and let's all erase it from our memories. But once again, thank you for all listening in to the Last Place Fantasy Football podcast. We're heading into round 2 of our playoffs, and a lot of people are heading into round 2 as well. I do want to mention one thing, and if you have any fantasy football questions, if you need help with startings, if we find it in time, literally just place a comment down on the video, and we will definitely try to answer to the best of our abilities. I believe the other guy was like Bruce Stark or something. We'll get to your question sooner. But in the meantime, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. You'll find us on YouTube as well. We will still probably be crying from our playoff losses unless your name is Cooper Kupp, and we will still be telling you everything going on within the season and within round 2 of the playoffs. But in the meantime, I am Josh. You saw Ryan and you saw Ethan, and we will see y'all next week.
With my granny hand. Bye.
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 Bye.